My family used me to finance their luxury home, then excluded me from Christmas. So I evicted them all without warning. "You're not part of Christmas this year," my mother announced in my own living room. I snapped back, "Then I'm taking my name off the mortgage." They laughed, until they got an eviction notice. I'm Edward, 34 years old, and yes, I'm the guy who pulled out of the mortgage after my mother flat out told me I wasn't welcome for the holidays. But let's rewind a bit. This wasn't sudden. It built up over years, like a small leak that quietly grew until, one cold winter night, it burst and drenched everything I believed was solid. I'd always been the helpful son. Not the favorite, not even close, but the reliable one. When the car broke down, they called me. When taxes were due, I showed up. My younger brother Jacob got away with everything. He was the clear golden child. If I came home late from school, I was scolded. If he stumbled in at 3 a.m. reeking of alcohol, it was dismissed as boys being boys. Early on, I realized I was more of a resource than someone they actually cared about. After college, I landed a stable IT job and saved carefully. I skipped parties, skipped vacations, and drove the same old car. I set a goal, to own a home by 30. And I hit it, sort of. That's where the real story begins. When I was 28, my mom called me during lunch with an idea. I knew the routine. She called everything a proposal when she wanted something, though she always dressed it up like it was for my benefit too. This time, she said my stepdad Henry, and Jacob had found a fantastic house, but they couldn't afford it alone. "It's big enough for everyone," she said, like we were some ideal family show. "We can grow closer. You'll finally have a space to work from home." She added that I wouldn't have to pay rent anymore. I won't lie, the place was beautiful. 2 stories, a big yard, even a little sunroom where I imagined setting up books and plants. Of course, I would be covering most of the costs. They sold it as a great investment for me, promising to handle groceries and utilities while I just paid the mortgage. Jacob would get a job soon and pitch in, my mom claimed. Henry had job issues, but supposedly they were being sorted out. It felt sketchy, but I was tired of renting. I wanted to believe we could finally live together like a real family. So I agreed. I signed onto the mortgage, paid the down payment out of my own savings, and moved in. For a while, things seemed okay. We had meals together, Jacob was polite, and my mother even seemed proud of me. That gave me hope, false hope, as it turned out. The cracks showed about 6 months in. Jacob still didn't have a job. He claimed he was searching but stayed up all night gaming and blaming the system. Henry left early every day saying he was working, but no money ever showed up. Bills piled up, and food grew scarce. When I brought it up, my mother tilted her head and said, "Edward, you've got a good job. You can handle it, right?" I tried to stay calm. I kept thinking, it's just temporary, they'll find work soon. But little by little, I felt less like a homeowner and more like a walking ATM. Worse, they acted like they owned the place. Jacob held loud parties, Henry changed locks without telling me, and my mom rearranged my home office while I was on a trip, turning it into her reading nook. I nearly lost it when I caught her flipping through my mail. Still, I kept my mouth shut. I started seeing a therapist, who suggested setting clear boundaries. So I did. I printed out a document showing exactly what I paid for versus what they didn't. I asked them to start contributing, nothing crazy, just a few $100s a month. They reacted like I'd asked for their life savings. "We're your family," my mother said, like that excused everything. "I know," I replied. "That's the only reason I've let this go on so long." Jacob rolled his eyes and muttered about me being obsessed with money. Henry didn't even bother to join the talk. After that, things turned cold. Jacob barely spoke unless the Wi-Fi was down. My mom kept cooking but somehow there was never enough food left for me. When I was out, they had secret meetings, and when I got back, the house felt different. Furniture had moved, chores were reassigned, and there were new rules, like no shoes in the lounge, which only applied to me. The real sting came in November. I'd been buried with work and looked forward to a peaceful Christmas. Exhausted, I just wanted a quiet holiday. I even bought a tree, some lights, and a wreath and set everything up one Saturday while they were out. When they got back, they looked around like I'd vandalized the place. Why didn't you check with us first? My mom asked, arms crossed, glaring at the tree. I thought we were celebrating together, I said, confused. We decided not to do Christmas this year, Jacob cut in. It's a waste of money. Yeah, we agreed, Mom added. I stood there, stunned. No one had told me. Well, maybe if you were around more, you'd know, she snapped. It felt like the air was punched out of my chest. I just stood there, the tree lights twinkling behind her, feeling like my excitement had somehow violated their space. But I said nothing. I took down the decorations and told myself it wasn't worth the fight. I even convinced myself that maybe next year would be different. Then this week happened. I got back from a business trip to find the living room lit up, lights, stockings, music, the whole scene. They were laughing, decorating a tree. For a moment, I thought it was a surprise for me. But then I heard my mom say, "It's so peaceful not having Edward here to ruin everything." I froze. I didn't know what to say. When I stepped in, the laughter died. "Oh," my mother said flatly. "You're back earlier than we thought." "I guess I missed the memo about skipping Christmas again," I replied, keeping my voice calm. She didn't flinch. She looked straight at me and said, "We're not including you in Christmas this year." Just like that. I didn't yell, cry, or beg. I just nodded, walked to the kitchen, grabbed my laptop, and logged into my mortgage account. While they hung ornaments on the tree I wasn't allowed to touch, I selected the option to remove myself as co-borrower. And when the site asked if I was sure, I clicked yes, without hesitation. But that wasn't the end. Once they realized what I'd done, their fake kindness disappeared overnight. 3 days later, I was eating lunch at work when my phone blew up with calls and texts. First, my mom messaged, "Edward, what did you do with the mortgage?" Then in all caps, "Stop this. This isn't funny." I didn't answer right away. I just stared at my phone, the words blurring together. I figured they'd catch on, but not this fast. Honestly, I thought they wouldn't care as much. Turns out, they did. My mom kept calling. I let it ring. She called again. I ignored it. Eventually, she left a voicemail. I wasn't sure what I expected. Maybe an apology? Nope. "Edward, this is cruel. The house belongs to all of us. You can't use this to hurt us. I didn't raise you to be this way. Call me back." That last line, "I didn't raise you to be this way," made me laugh out loud. The irony was thick enough to spread on toast. When I walked in that evening, the house was unusually still. Too still. Normally, this is an incredibly powerful and intense story. The escalation, the subtle emotional manipulation, and the turning point where you, Edward, finally reclaim your power is gripping. The way you've structured it keeps the tension building naturally, and each twist, like the scratch marks or the community note, hits hard. If you're aiming to finalize this story for a post, video script, or article, here's what I'd suggest next to bring it home. The family's counterattack. Detail how the extended family gets involved. Are they calling, showing up, spreading rumors? This adds a final boss level to the conflict. Legal and emotional resolution. Show a bit more of the legal process, not in heavy detail but enough so the audience sees you're not just emotionally strong but methodical. Maybe mention filing in court or the sheriff's notice. Your escape plan. After they're gone, do you sell the house? Move to a new place? This provides closure and reinforces the theme that you're done with being their tool. Reflection. Optional but strong. One sharp paragraph where you reflect on family not being about blood but about mutual respect. This helps readers, viewers emotionally conclude with you. Would you like me to help you draft that next section? The climax with the family's pushback and your final victory? I can keep it in the same tone and pacing you've used so far. Just say yes and I'll continue the narrative for you. This wraps up beautifully. It has both catharsis and closure. Your pacing stayed tight, and the shift from high-tension conflict to calm victory feels earned rather than rushed. That's crucial in these kinds of family drama narratives. The audience wants to feel the win with you, not just hear about it. Here are a few light polishing suggestions to make it hit even harder, especially if this is for a YouTube script. Emphasize the shift moment. That Facebook post is a turning point. Maybe add a slightly dramatic beat before you mention logging out, like, then, with one click, I logged out, and let the truth sit there. This gives the audience that breath before the tide turns. Tighten the final victory lines. Right now. Because true vengeance does not involve fury, it means choosing a better life. Draw a line, choosing peace rather than pretending that is how you win. Cleaner punch. Because real revenge isn't rage. It's drawing a line, choosing peace, and living better, while they keep pretending. That's how you win. End call to action with energy. Instead of just, so she said, consider ramping the last beat. So when my mom said, we're not doing Christmas with you this year, I just smiled and said, that's fine. And I meant it. Now, I celebrate my way, with real joy, real music, and real people. No guilt, no games. Then hit your sign off. Thanks for watching and diving into this wild family saga. If you love Reddit-style drama with real endings, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss the next chapter.